This is a video that's been requested by one of my comments. So their point is basically there isn't a lot of videos really online, guys, that teaches, what is patience, the rewards of patience, how beautiful patience is, how it's so important to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inna Allah ma'as sabirin, but not really how do I become patient? So how do I be patient? Well, for that, as in our video about mastery of patience, we need to know the types of patience. So there are 3 types. Number 1 is basically the endurance that is required. Keep in mind, by the way, when I say the types, every type has a degree of patience in each type, okay? So we're talking about the highest of each type. So that's not all of us, obviously, because we all have a different level of patience, as we know. So number 1 type is the endurance required to fulfill the commands of Allah. We all obviously fulfill the commands of Allah, but there are levels. The absolute highest is the ones that are able to endure so much and still keep fulfilling Allah's commands without hesitation, no matter how tired they are. We're talking about the first level of each type, okay? The highest type, the highest levels are. Number 2, the restraint that is required to abstain from every prohibition and temptation of sins from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So anything that is haram, you try to stay away of to the highest level possible. The restraint, restraining yourself from doing any of them, especially the major ones. Because nobody doesn't sin, guys. However, the major sins, no, you definitely can abstain from them. Because yes, a lot of us do the major sins, but you definitely can abstain and not do them ever again. So that's the second type. And the temptations that lead to it, obviously. And last but not least, the acceptance of the decree by Allah the Almighty from our first encounter to that decree. So from our first shock, again, we're talking at the highest level here. So as soon as you get a decree from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that is not really favorable, for example, you're already accepting it. You know this is good for you no matter what. You know Allah's doing this for your sake. You know He's doing this to help you. You know He's doing this to raise you. You know He's doing this to erase your sins. You know He's doing this to expiate. You know He's doing this because He loves you. You know He's doing this because He's testing you. That is acceptance. Not being sad, that doesn't mean you don't accept it. عسى أن تكرهوا شيئا وهو خير لكم, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said himself, and عسى أن تحبوا شيئا وهو شر لكم والله يعلم وأنتم لا تعلمون. There may be some decree that you do not like, but it's actually good for you. And there is some decree that you might like, but it's actually bad for you. And Allah knows and you do not know. So yeah. So the highest level is our first shock to the encounter. And believe it or not, it's extremely difficult. Literally, as soon as you encountered it, you're already accepting it. And you're not complaining, why me? Why me of all people? Everyone is doing this. Why aren't they being tested as me? Why me? That is not acceptance. And yes, there's levels. Remember, you can accept after a little bit of complaining, but that's not the highest level. So yeah. So now that we know the 3 types of patience, really quickly, as we said in our video about mastery of patience, how do we master patience? So in my opinion, it's actually by going to the highest level in each type, not choosing one type and mastering that. No, you take all the types. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Al-Zumar, ayah 10, إنما يوفى الصابرون أجرهم بغير حساب. So what Allah is beautifully saying is those of us who endure patiently will get their rewards in paradise without limit, without reckoning, without measure. So, in other words, your rewards have no limits. It's an immense reward. It's not even weighed or measured. So, there isn't some limit to it. You can have a reward, but there is a limit to it. No, those who endure patiently and master patience will have nothing. No measurement, no weighing. Rewards that just don't end, basically. SubhanAllah. And there's obviously a reason why true patience, and when I say true patience, by the way, I mean the mastery of patience, okay? So that's not all of us. Yes, all of us have some degree of patience, but not true patience, where we basically master every pillar. I like to refer to them as pillars more than types, because when we're talking about mastery, each pillar we have to surpass, go to the highest level. So yeah, subhanAllah. And of course, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said also in the Quran many times, I believe, Inna Allah ma'as sabirin. Verily, Allah is with the patient. So no matter how difficult your patience is, Allah is literally saying in the Quran, if you are enduring and staying patient, I am with you. You're not alone. I am watching you. I am protecting you. I am guiding you. I am here for you. SubhanAllah. Here is so many beautiful hadiths about patience, showing this. Remember, this is about true patience. It's talking about the true one, the one Allah is referring to, not the one we all are anyway. No, the highest level, the one that is without reckoning, no no limit to rewards and such. SubhanAllah. As you can see, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in Sahih Bukhari, the real patience is at the first stroke of a calamity. So that's the third type, as we said. The one at the first encounter of a shock from Allah, you're already accepting it. That's true patience. Anything else, it is patience, but it's a lower level. It's not the highest level. SubhanAllah. Continue. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, the believer who mixes with people and bears their annoyance with patience will have a greater reward than the one that doesn't mix with people, so they basically don't have to put up with their annoyance. So being patient with people, basically. And another one, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, if I had anything, I would not keep it away from you. Remember, whoever abstains from asking others, Allah will make him contented. And whoever tries to make himself self-sufficient, Allah will make him self-sufficient. And whoever remains patient, Allah will make him patient. That's very important, guys. If you want to be patient, you have to have the intention to want to be patient. Allah will not make you patient on a whim. You have to have the intention that you want to be patient. And that's very difficult, believe it or not. Oh, and then in the hadith, he also continues to say after that, nobody can be given a blessing better and greater than what? Patience. SubhanAllah. Also in Sahih Bukhari, by the way. And as we know from our balanced approach from those previous videos, secondary source of guidance and such, those hadiths do not contradict the Quran at all. They're going with it, subhanAllah. This is another hadith that I love so much. A woman was weeping by a grave, crying someone that she lost. The Prophet passed by her, basically advising her and told her, be patient and Allah will reward you and such. The woman said, go away, for you have not had a calamity as bad as mine. And by the way, she did not recognize you as the Prophet before you said anything. She did not know he was the Prophet. So he just left. Also, this shows you the Prophet's true character, mashallah, guys. He could have literally said, do you know who you're talking to? That kind of thing. And I bet any one of us would do that. A king, a president, whatever. They would definitely have the authority they're just going to say, yeah, do you know who you're talking to? The Prophet, none of that. Just left. Then the woman was later told, so he didn't tell her, the woman was later told, you know you were talking to the Prophet, by the way, right? She didn't recognize him. So obviously she was shocked. She went to his house. She found no guards, no doorkeepers, basically. And he greeted her. So she said, I didn't know it was you. What did the Prophet tell her? True patience is at the first stroke of a calamity. Again, so clearly this is a very important one of patience, guys. The hardest one. As soon as you're shocked, you're already accepting the decree. And believe it or not, that is so much harder than it sounds. Imagine you're living your day, you're living your life, and all of a sudden a calamity struck you. You're already accepting it. The first shock, as soon as you already realize the calamity just hit you, you're already accepting it. That is very difficult. Subhanallah. But nothing is impossible, even though, yes, guys, patience, as Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said in the hadith, nothing is greater than a blessing of patience. Because it is so difficult, it is harder than any test you could possibly come up with. It's harder than cancer, it's worse than cancer. It's worse than losing your loved one, it's worse than everything you can think of. No test will surpass the test of patience. And when I say patience, I mean true patience, the mastery of patience, not the one we already all are. We all have some level of patience. No, I'm talking about true patience. No test is going to surpass true patience, not even cancer. You know, the old cancer that everyone hates and afraid of, and we know their time is coming. Nothing is worse than true patience. Nothing is harder, but not impossible. Subhanallah. And obviously, I believe that a mu'min, not a Muslim, a mu'min or mu'minah, have true patience. Because they're mu'mineen. They're the highest level a Muslim can be. Subhanallah. Here's another beautiful hadith, subhanallah. The example of a believer, Prophet Muhammad said, the example of a believer is that of a fresh, tender plant. From whatever direction the wind comes, it bends it. But when the wind becomes quiet, it becomes straight again. So in other words, similarly, a believer is afflicted with calamities, but he remains patient till Allah removes that calamity. However, an impious, wicked person is like a pine tree. It's hard and straight. So it keeps like that until Allah just breaks it or cuts it down when He wishes. So what does that mean? Basically, what that means is when you truly are being patient, want to be patient, Allah's making you patient, Allah's barely with the patient, He's making you patient, that you are like a fresh, tender plant. The calamity is trying to break you, right? But you're tender. You're ductile. You're basically bendable. You're easily bendable. You just bend with the calamity, and as soon as the calamity is over, you're back straight again. Subhanallah. But an impious, wicked person is the opposite. It's a pine tree, something that is hard, not bendable in any way. So if a calamity comes, it just breaks it. Because they can't be patient. Do you see what I mean? Subhanallah, what a beautiful hadith. So now that we mentioned all those beautiful hadiths, there's obviously a lot more, but we can't just keep mentioning all of them. How do we achieve patience? Yes, we talked about the rewards of patience, how beautiful it is, no blessing greater than it. We kind of already said it. Literally, that's it. Have the intention that you want to be patient. And Allah will make you patient. If you don't have that intention, Allah will not make you patient. He won't be with you, because verily Allah is with the patient. And by with you, obviously He's with all of us, but I mean with you as in He's helping you, guiding you the whole time, just being there for you. That's with a true patient servant, subhanAllah. Another example, our real role models, as we said in one of our videos, the prophets. Look at all of their tests and look what they do. They're your role models, right? Copy them. Copy them. What did they do when they were hit with calamities? Their tests are going to be the tests that are coming for you. Just not the same difficulty, obviously, but the same scenarios even. It could be the same exact scenarios. And you will see there is patterns that you will find. SubhanAllah. So study those beautiful patterns, because you'll be surprised how many of your tests a prophet literally had them. Because of course, they're your role models. They have had all of them. No calamity can strike you that is harder than the one that struck a prophet. So look at the one that struck the prophet, because yours isn't going to be as difficult, but it can be the same scenario, so you can see what to do in that situation. You know how to be patient for that. SubhanAllah. By studying the patterns. For example, being separated from a loved one. For example, a family member, albeit whatever it is. And what happens? Look at Prophet Musa's mother, for example. Prophet Musa alayhi salam was very young, a baby, and Allah commanded her to put him in a box, float in the ocean, and promised her, I will return him to you safely. لا تخافي إنا ردوه إليك. Right? So when did Allah return him to her? When he was basically a man. So do you see how many years she's been staying patient, hopeful? Allah will return him to me one day, inshallah, because he promised me that he will return him. Right? Even though everything was going the opposite for her. Study that pattern. She was crying the whole time, yes, but crying and being sad, that does not mean you're not being patient, guys. People think that this ruins your patience. This doesn't ruin your patience. Because you can see with Prophet Yaqub alayhi salam, for example, 40 years, his eyes became white. He lost his vision from all the crying on the separation from Yusuf alayhi salam, right? So does that mean he was not being patient? It's a prophet. Of course he was being patient. Exactly. So crying does not mean it ruins your patience. Or complaining to Allah, not about Allah or to anyone. SubhanAllah. Also, obviously, you know it's a test. You know it's a test from Allah, and nothing can harm you without Allah's permission. That also constitutes as acceptance of Allah's decree. Because you know, even though I don't see it, I know it has to be good for me, because Allah only comes with good. That's patience. SubhanAllah. And the sooner you realize that, the sooner you are able to achieve true patience. SubhanAllah. Also in our video about yaqeen and how to achieve yaqeen, subhanAllah, that also is patience. Patience with things going the opposite to your dua. That's patience as well. And that's the most difficult one, ironically, because yaqeen, as we said in our previous video, you can watch it at, but basically, it only develops in the face of an adversity. It has to be an adversity. It has to be going the opposite. So it can't be going in your direction, and that's yaqeen. That's not what yaqeen is. Yaqeen is full trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that things will turn out well in the end. Exactly. So it has to be going the opposites for you to actually develop yaqeen. I don't care what my eyes are seeing. Allah promised me. I saw the signs. I saw dreams, whatever, visions, that it will happen, so it has to happen. And Allah will keep testing you, by the way, by making it go the opposite. That's what He does. To keep raising that degree of yaqeen of yours, till it gets to the absolute highest. SubhanAllah. If you keep being patient, of course. SubhanAllah. So all those people that I see, mashallah, they're so patient. I would never be able to be this patient like them. You're wrong. Yes, you definitely can. Those people are not just stronger than you, or no, they're born stronger than me and that's why they're able to be patient, but I can't. I just don't have any patience in me. Do you know what those people are doing? Wallah lazim, Literally, that's it. All they're doing is they have the pure intention that they want to be patient. So Allah is making them patient. That's it. That's actually Tullah. That's it. They just keep having that intention. It doesn't break. No matter what calamity befalls them, I have to be patient. That's patience. But a lot of us, when a calamity befalls us, we're being patient. Then another calamity befalls us, we're being patient. Then another calamity befalls us, okay, I can't take it anymore. So that's what happens. They stay like that. They keep being patient. As there is the hadith, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, remember? Who are the most people that are tested, O Prophet? So the Prophet replied, the prophets. They are the most people to suffer in this dunya. Followed by whom? Followed by the highest. Then the higher. Then the higher, the higher, the higher. A man from mankind, basically, a man or a woman, will keep being tested until there is no sin left on their back on this earth. Subhanallah. Will keep being tested until there is no sin. But that's only when what? Listen to the hadith. The tests will increase if the foundation of that man's religion is sound and strong. It will keep hitting them. It won't stop. It will keep hitting them even harder. That's how it works. But if their foundation is shaky, and as soon as they get that test from Allah, at first it's fine, then it's fine. Then another harder test hits, and they start getting shaky, the test will stop. So it will not continue till there's no sin whatsoever left on their back. So do you see how this works with patience? It has to be consistent, guys. Patience isn't like a one-time thing, it's a consistent thing. That's why nothing surpasses the true patience test. Because you get tested with the 3 pillars of patience, by the way. Not one of them, not 2, but all of them. And I believe that if you achieve all of them, achieve actual true patience, as Allah has said again, إنما يوفى الصابرون أجرهم بغير حساب. You will have no measures, no weights, rewards without limit in Jannah. But I believe it's not even Jannah, it's actually Firdawsul A'la, the highest level of Jannah. Subhanallah. So for those of you wondering, I'm sure some of you have picked up when I make dua for my followers, for example, or something, and I write my dua, I always say what? And may Allah guide you to true patience or real patience with the 3 pillars. Because I actually want them to master it. Obviously, as myself as well. We all want to master it. And yes, it's difficult. So what? Is it impossible? No. Then do it. Subhanallah. Let's say though, because I'm sure a lot of us are wondering from that hadith with the woman weeping. So, but what if I get hit with a calamity and I don't accept it from the first shock? I am not having true patience. Well, now what? It's over. There's going to be multiple calamities. That's the thing. It has to be consistent. So the next calamity, realize your mistake and try to accept it faster and quicker and so on till you get to that true patience where you're just the first shock. It's Allah. It's Allah. He does nothing but good. It will be good. Don't care. Don't care. Do you see what I mean? Subhanallah. So in other words, if you want to achieve true patience, you will suffer. The tests will be so difficult, they're consistent. You have to keep that level consistent throughout every single test, but you will be rewarded massively for it. That intention stays the same. You're suffering, but I have to keep doing it. You'll be rewarded massively for this, wallahi. massively. And again, not just rewards in Jannah with no limit, and as Allah said, it's also in this dunya. You'll be blessed with unimaginable things from Allah. You will see Allah's power in front of you. You will truly see what Allah is all capable. They all capable. And what He's capable in showing you how is He all capable. Wallah. Subhanallah. So may Allah guide us all to the true patience with the three pillars, to mastery of it. And make us all achieve, as also I'm sure a lot of you noticed, Al-Firdaus al-A'la and not Al-Jannah. I always say that as well, because I want Firdaus al-A'la for us, not Jannah. Subhanallah. Ameen.